Wilson, you muted.
I was say I can't hear you.
That would help. Welcome everybody to the Focus TV. Thank y'all for letting me know. We got a lot to
Just thought
talk
my
about
computer
tonight, but
messed up
before we
like
get started,
normal.
it was me. It was me out here talking with the button hit. But got some serious things to touch on before we get going tonight. We've been talking about the seriousness of COVID-19 regularly on this program since the very start of the pandemic, about folks, just wearing your mask, taking your precautions, because it's serious, it's real. Today, we just want to take a minute to talk about the effects it had to someone close to us. We want to send our prayers to the Dudley family. May Tiane Stidam, Cardell's mother, rest in heavenly peace. Want to take a minute to pay tribute to her, as we've done for many others that have lost their lives during, to many different things, but specifically in this case, to this horrible virus over the months. I'm going to read this statement written by Cardell. Just going to read this on his behalf, and we will get started. But first, I'm going to do what I always do, speak from the heart. Mom was tough, real tough. She was tough individually and tough on me and my siblings. I can't tell you how many stories I got from her. Friends, male and female, from the neighborhood she grew up in off Benning Road, about how she beat down a lot of the dudes who would pick on her. My aunts and her friends. By the time my uncles would get to the scene, the dude was on the ground leaking and the crowd would be holding my mom back. Like I said, she was tough. She was a fighter. She was also extremely loyal and giving to a fault. In those ways, I'm her. I inherited those traits from her. She just taught me something regarding those traits she learned too late. Everyone isn't deserving of your loyalty and giving nature. Be careful. My mission as her son, watching her work double shifts at night at St. Elizabeth, was to defy the odds and become someone she could be proud of. Something that changed the cycle of labor jobs, selling drugs, and being in jail. That was pretty much the path for men in my family. Basketball became the tool that set a different path for me. My mom only came to one game I played. I was 9 years old. She worked too much to come to the other games as I grew as a player. But she would watch me in the neighborhood and get the reports back from my friends, father, and coaches about how I was doing. It motivated me to put the work in as a player so I could retire her, so she could come to the games and not have to worry about bills, mortgage, etc. Like I said, become someone she could be proud of. As I earned my first pro contract, I called her with the good news, and she was happy as hell for me. She didn't express it much, but that one occasion she did. Now I could make sure she was straight, take the pressure off of her. The next day, I got a call from my uncle saying she was in a coma from a stroke, and it was downhill from there health-wise. I didn't feel right going overseas to play pro ball and not make sure my mom was right. So I told the team I wasn't coming. I knew she would need me. I ended up being right. I took a different path with basketball, going the media, scouting route, got married, started a family, and focused my energy on helping hoopers get shine so the game can do for them what it's done for me. Remember those traits I said my mom had? Well, I'm applying those on a daily basis now, helping hoopers all over get opportunities. Indirectly, I'm her, just in a different lane. So in a lot of ways, she's living on through me. The strokes, and later on, the seizures, took its toll the last few years with her motor skills deteriorating. So she was unable to have conversations or remember a lot. Somehow, whenever my sister would show her new pictures of me and my family, she would always yell out my name with a smile. That always told me she was proud of the man I had become. Mission accomplished. I appreciate all of the messages, texts, and calls from friends, family, DMV basketball community, and the basketball community behind. I really do. I even saw a message from Jerry Stackhouse. Me and my mom used to watch Stackhouse play together when he was in college. That's crazy. I know she's smiling from above. I'm going to take a little bit to be with my family during this tough time. I'll plug back in soon. Y'all hold it down with the show. Stay safe. COVID is taking people out, and COVID is taking people out, and it doesn't care about income, race, prestige, education, great health, bad health, none of that. Again, thank you all. So again, we told you guys that's something we definitely wanted to touch on. Again, sure, speak for all of us, saying our prayers to the Dudley family in a very difficult time. We're going to take our first break tonight. When we come back, we'll let you know what we have planned for you. You're watching the Focus TV. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Focus TV. As mentioned on tonight's show, we got the Wizard segment coming up next, led by Ray. You're going to touch on these NFL playoffs. Can't wait to see what Octavia has to say about it. I'm sure the Petty will be in. I don't know how Petty going to be today. We're going to see. Y'all got other things going on in Philly that might be bigger than the playoffs. A lot of the stake for a lot of teams is this all-season nears follow the playoffs. We got some rapid fires and a couple rapid fire questions. And Cardell was at the St. James NIBC Invitational. We got some clips from that, like some day one, day two standout stuff. So head over to Find His Mag to check that out. Also, Find His Mag on Twitter. That's where both of those day one, day two, like clips. We checked in at the end of the day, and he shared 5 to 6 players from each day. You guys can see that in its entirety there. But Ray, what's going on with the Wizards, man? Got some news like literally before the show started too. But what's going on with the Washington Wizards, man?
They're sitting at 3-8 right now. Last night actually they played their most complete game of the season by far to this point. They beat the Suns 128-107, wire to wire victory. Me and Wilson talked about it after the game. For that first half, that was pretty much flawless defensive execution, and it just showed what they're capable of. And it also fed into their offense, which is not a problem to begin with. But, when you're getting stops and moving the ball and doing those type of things, doing all the little things, you get the kind of results they got last night. So, hopefully they can move forward and make this a habit. For those that don't know, Thomas Bryant, he went down with a partially torn ACL, so he'll be out for the remainder of the season. So guys going to have to step up. Robin Lopez did a good job in his stead. Mo Wagner got some valuable minutes as well. They got a tough task tomorrow night in Utah. Actually, Utah will be here. This is the last game of their homestand. Rudy Gobert is a little different beast than DeAndre Ayton and the Suns bigs, but I think Robin Lopez and Wagner, they're up to the task, man. They they hustled last night. They rebounded. They made their presence felt defensively, at least for the first half. So, it should be another good game for them if they continue to do things they did that led to their success. It's been up and down for them for the whole year, mostly down. They gave away some games early and kind of dug themselves into a hole. But, man, hopefully they can just move forward in a positive light. Russell Westbrook's also battling a quad injury. So his availability is going to be scattered. He already really wasn't playing back-to-backs to begin with. So, those are just the bumps in the road they're going to have to deal with. From a positive note in regards to that, Neto has been excellent in games that he started. So, there shouldn't be too much of a drop-off with him in that starting lineup. But yeah, man, they should be able to turn the corner a little bit here. Hopefully they like the feeling of winning a game and look to make that a regular thing. But yeah, man, just looking forward to what they have to offer for tomorrow night against the Jazz.
All right, for sure. I got a little update for you. Got you back here. So the NBA and their wonderful ever-changing COVID procedures and protocols that routinely have changed and people have had issues with. The Wizards game is postponed tomorrow, and that literally broke like before we got on air. Like it's that fresh in terms of news. But like Ray said, if they get that game, I doubt that game happens this week. But they'll have another game later this week. I think they got one scheduled for Friday that's on the road. So we're going to see what happens with that. But like Ray, you and I have been talking on Wizards Outlook, like there was like a trend where the last 4 or 5 teams the Wizards played, like someone from the opposing team entered the COVID protocols, and looks like it's finally hit where, it was a trend and, everyone was going out their way not to put, 2 and 2 together. But if eventually it hit, apparently it was like literally around 7:45 or something like that. So we'll see what happens. Quick update with the G League. The 2021 NBA G League draft was held yesterday at 1 p.m. 17 NBA G League teams will play in Orlando beginning next month. Obviously, we know in a regular year, there are more than 17 G League teams. Some teams are kind of combining and sending their players to other teams. It was a 3-round draft. So here's some of the players with local ties that were drafted yesterday. We got former Wizards go-go player Admiral Schofield. He was drafted by Greensboro with the very first pick. Memphis selected former Maryland standout Anthony Cowens with the 16th pick. The 15th pick in the second round, Austin selected former Hoya Caleb Johnson. In the third round, with the 4th pick, Delaware selected former Virginia wing Braxton Key. The Capital City Go-Go, like I just mentioned, with some of the teams assigning their players to different affiliates, they announced today that they will flex assign 4 players to the Erie Bayhawks. That's the affiliate of the New Orleans Pelicans. During the NBA G League season, those 4 players are Jordan Bell, Yoli Childs, Caleb Holmesley, and Marlon Taylor. Here's some notable names that did not get drafted in the G League draft, but are still free agents. Mike Beasley, Destin Detman, Fetsis Azeli, Mario Chalmers, Quincy Pondexter, Corey Jefferson, Lance Stevenson, Mecca Okafor, Shawnee Williams, Shabazz Muhammad. And the reason we're sharing those names is because, again, with these COVID protocols, some teams, with the COVID protocols, and then some teams with some of these injuries, for example, the Wizards are going to apply for a disabled player exception for losing TB for the rest of the year. Those are some of the names that could pop up. We'll see. We will keep you guys updated on that. Jump into college update real quick, and then 9-4-50, and then we get to see what Octavia has to say about the NFL playoffs. But on the college side of things, the Maryland Terrapins, they're 9-1, 5-0 in conference. They held the Boilermakers to just 24% shooting on the day. Maryland's best field goal percentage defense since joining the Big Ten. Ashley Owusu has been on one. We've told you guys this each and every week. It hasn't stopped. So, water's wet, sky's blue. Owusu's on one. That's where we are right now. She continued her strong sophomore campaign with 19 points and 9 assists. Sophomore Diamond Miller added 16 points with 8 boards. Chloe Bibby added 11 points. Sophomore Faith Masonius grabbed 10 boards. They also, the game before that, they held on in a tough win over Michigan State on the road, handing Michigan State their first loss. So that was a tough matchup in the Big Ten. Again, Ashley Owusu, you guys just saw the graphic up there. There's a reason she was named the Naismith Player of the Week. She led the way against Michigan State with 20 points, 10 boards, assists, 10 to 12 at the line. Again, she gets downhill. There's nothing you can do except pray that the ref has mercy on you and calls her for charging. Outside of that, you're not in control of it. Chloe Bibby got 20 points, 9 for 9 at the line. Katie Benzin, she's shooting like 50-something from 3 for the year. It's ridiculous. She had 19, and then Diamond Miller added 14. Mimi Collins at 14 as well. As we just mentioned, Owusu, with the 12th ranked Maryland women's basketball team, was named the Jersey Mike's Naismith Trophy National Player of the Week on Tuesday. She led the Terrapins 9-1, as we told you guys, to a 3-0 in Big Ten play last week. So that's 3 conference wins. All right, it's a big deal. 2 of those wins came over top 25 teams. Owusu led the Terrapins in scoring in all 3 games. So for the week, she averaged 19.7 points, 6.7 assists, and 6 rebounds in 3 wins. And somehow she was left off the top point guard list to start the year. And, shout out to the people who do these lists. I don't know what you're watching. I don't know if you feel bad about the fact that she wasn't on the list currently looking at what she's doing. I can't help you. Well, it's a shame. And that's just terrible, honestly. But what we're going to do is a 9-4-50 breakdown. Jamal Hayward. This week, he will be showing you guys switching hands on floaters after reading a defender. Again, switching hands on floaters after reading a defender. And when we return, Octavia in the NFL playoffs.
Today we're going to be working on floaters and how to read the defender if they actually go to attack your strong hand, whether it's your left hand or your right hand, okay? So, I'm going down the middle. Now, normally when I go down the middle, going to my right, I'm going to use my right hand, I'm going to jump off my left foot. So, now, again, I'm going to attack here. Go up, strong right hand, floater, jump with my left foot. Now, reading the defender. If they go to attack my right hand, I can switch to my left hand. So, I add a slight fade. The defender is here, coming to your right. I fade back slightly, left hand floater. There's no way they're going to block it because they're going to really take it to my right hand, and I fade back with my left hand, and I shoot a left hand floater. Okay? So, that's an option that you have when you're reading the defender as you get up in levels. College, pro level, gotta be crafting around basket. Go off with your left hand, okay? You don't have to be programmed to go with your right hand. Today we're going to be working on floaters and how to read the defender if they actually go to attack your strong hand, whether it's your left hand or your right hand, okay? So, I'm going down the middle. Now, normally when I go down the middle, going to my right, I'm going to use my right hand, I'm going to jump off my left foot. So, now, again, I'm attack here, I go up, strong, right hand, floater, jump with my left foot. Now, reading the defender. If they go to attack my right hand, I can switch to my left hand. So, I add a slight fade. The defender is here, coming to your right. I fade back slightly, left hand floater. There's no way they're going to block it because they're going to really take it to my right hand, and I fade back with my left hand, and I shoot a left hand floater. Okay? So, that's an option that you have when you're reading the defender as you get up in levels. College, pro level, gotta be crafting around basket. Go off with your left hand, okay? You don't have to be programmed to go with your right hand.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. Once again, want to say thank you to Jamal Haber for knocking out the 9-450 each and every week. All right, Octavia, we're going to get into y'all's little offseason thing later. It's time in the show for that. But for right now, we're going to talk about the teams in the playoffs. What you got from, what was this build? Super Wild Card Weekend? I think this weekend because of the 3 games
Super
each
Wild
day.
Card Weekend. Yeah, it was 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, this week. There were three games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday. I'm just going to give you the quick scores and let you know who won what game. Then you have Indianapolis Colts played the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills beat the Indianapolis Colts 27-24, advancing. Then you had the Los Angeles Rams against the Seattle Seahawks, and the Los Angeles Rams were victorious, beating the Seahawks 30-20 and advancing to the next round as well. Your hometown team, the Washington football team, played against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a home game. I feel bad that they had a home game and there could be no fans. I feel really, really bad because it's been a while since they've had a playoff home game, and I'm sure it would have been crazy at FedEx, but that daggone COVID. But Tampa Bay was victorious 31-23, moving to the next round. Then up the road, you had the Baltimore Ravens played against the Tennessee Titans, and the Ravens were victorious 20-13. Lamar Jackson got his first playoff win. Next, we had the Chicago Bears, who snuck into the playoffs, played against the New Orleans Saints, and they fell to the Saints 21-9. And last but not least, we had the upset of the week of the year. I don't know. It was just so much going on with this game that it was too many TikTok dances. It was just so much happening.
Oh man.
With this. But the Steelers played against the Browns, and the Browns got their first playoff win in who knows how long. I don't even feel like looking it up. 48-37. Crazy. This was definitely a great weekend for football. Some of the things that I just kind of took away from some of the games, I'm just going to kind of leave it open-ended. There were some notable injuries. One injury that I kept my eye on was Aaron Donald. Nobody really gave the Rams a good chance to win this game. I would say, I feel like they thought that they could, but Seattle was Seattle. But as they say, offense wins games, defense wins championships, and we see whose defense was victorious in this game. But Aaron Donald did suffer a torn rib cartilage during the game, which sounds terribly painful. It just sounds bad. But he is expected to play next week. So that's an injury to look out for, as well as John Wolford, who was the starting quarterback in that game, who went out where I felt like it was the first play of the game with a neck injury and never returned. And Jared Goff was the backup. And he went from being the starter to the backup for all of 20 seconds to starting again. So for him to come in with actually just having surgery on his throwing hand thumb, you could see that his spirals weren't as tight as they probably used to been. But for people who've been injured, to be ready in a situation like that takes a lot of guts. So kudos to him. They were able to pull it out, give him some more time. We'll see if Wolford is ready for next week. Some of the biggest things that I'm sure a lot of you that are listening want to talk about is the Washington football team. Yes, although they did lose to the Buccaneers, it was actually a really, really good game. Taylor Heinicke, I keep wanting to say Heineken. This is what I want to say. Showed a lot of, he showed a lot of grit. He showed a lot of, determination, grind. Like you could see he was waiting for his turn and he was ready to go when it was time to go. Outside, I believe he got injured a little bit, but he came back out. Or maybe I'm tripping think about this game. But regardless, he had a good showing. What I'm concerned with now is how Washington football fans are. Are y'all sold on Heinicke? Like, is he the face of the franchise now because he played so great in this one game? I'm not saying that, but I'm feeling like y'all are saying it. So we will see what happens with that. I'm looking forward to them having a full off season, with Ron Rivera and being able to get his type of guys that he wants in. We'll see how normal next year is or how unnormal it is again, to see if he's able to do that. Buffalo Bills look amazing to me. Stephon Diggs, like he left the Vikings and was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and upgrade real quick, and it was so seamless and it was so easy for him. And Josh Allen, I won't say he came out of nowhere, but he to me is the textbook definition of grinding and working and getting better. Like he came into the league. There were some question marks in regards to his play, but to me, he's put all that to bed. He is their franchise. The Buffalo Bills won a playoff game for the first time in 25 years. Like that's majority of my life. Like 25 years. So Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, they will never have to pay for anything in Buffalo ever again. I don't care if they don't ever play another game in Buffalo. They should never have to pay for anything again. Old Man Rivers, though, and I just say that because that's what they call him. He hung in there, though. They try to come back at the end. If it wasn't for a fumble recovery that they got back, that the Bills got back at the game, we could have been having a different conversation. But for them, Pittman Jr. came on late. He had a really good game, and I'm sure they're looking forward to building, with him. And we'll see if Phillip Rivers returns next year. He was only signed for a 1-year deal. And we know there are plenty of reports and rumors that are swirling around about what's going to happen next out there. I will refrain from that. For the Ravens and the Titans, I honestly personally thought the Titans had this. I just thought Derrick Henry was going to be too much. I just thought he was going to run all over them, but Didn't happen. We can finally put this narrative to rest that Lamar Jackson can't win playoff games. He's won one. Let's stop talking about it. It was only his third playoff game. Like, he's still very, very young in his career. I expect many, 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 many more playoff wins from him. So I'm glad that was, done with. He was 17 of 24, 179 yards. He carried 16 times. He rushed for 136 yards as a quarterback in the game and a rushing touchdown. Like, that's crazy. That's your quarterback. Your quarterback had almost 100 yards more than your leading running back with J.K. Dobbins, who had 9 carries for 43 yards. Ridiculous. Like, you can't say anything else about it. And to be honest, the Saints and the Bears, I really didn't pay too much attention to because it was the Saints and the Bears. The Saints got a lot of their big pieces back. I'm gonna keep it 100, all right? For real. The Saints got a lot of their keys back. Towards the end of the season, we know Michael Thomas hasn't played a lot this year. We know Alvin Kamara missed the last game, but when they're there, it like what do you expect but a win? And Drew Brees is knocking on the door of almost being done. There are reports that this might be his last year. So with the heartbreaks that they've had in the playoffs the last 2 years, I know they're looking forward to expanding and moving further in the playoffs and trying to get that elusive second title for them. Just to wrap it all up, just so you're aware of who plays this week coming up, we have the Rams are going to take on the Packers. The Rams are going to go from sunny California up into the frozen tundra. So that should be interesting. You have that's going to be at 4:35 on Saturday. Then you have that night, you're going to have the Ravens versus the Bills, which I'm actually looking much forward to. Like, I feel like that's going to be a really, really good game. That's going to be Saturday night. And then on Sunday, you're going to have the Browns versus the Chiefs. I'm going to just watch that and not say anything. And then you have, because what they say, the Browns are going to brown. That's what everybody kept saying. And the Browns did a lot, but it's the Chiefs. So I don't really know. So we go watch this game. And then to top it all off for the weekend, you're going to have, this is going to be the third time they play this year, which is the Buccaneers and the Saints. Saints haven't lost to the Bucs this year. So Tom and Tampa Bay and Mike Evans and Godwin and all of them down there, whichever running back they decide to use this week, is going to have their hands full with the Saints, who, like I said, they're looking for a championship. It's championship or bust for them, I believe. So we have another great weekend of games, and I look forward to talking about who wins, who loses, who does something dumb this time next week.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Like, for Washington fans, I know y'all screaming about quarterbacks and whatnot. A couple of my friends that are Washington fans that I talk to on a regular basis, y'all have heard me say this forever. You need linebackers. You got a good defensive line, and then it skips to the secondary. 3 dudes in the middle are invisible. That's why Tom got the cooking, because there's like a whole middle. There's a whole layer of your defense that is non-existent. It doesn't exist at all. I don't even know what the 3 dudes do. I can just tell you they're bad. All of them. It's really, 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 really bad. Because
what do they do?
Like, when you play good quarterbacks, right? Like, I saw a lot of people screaming about, like, oh man, they holding. Right? As a person who, like, my team was in the Super Bowl last year, right? Teams with great quarterbacks get away with holding. Okay, this is a fact. I don't care. This is nothing new. It's part of life. That's why, like, on the defense, like, we know they're making it so hard to play defense in almost every sport, but especially in football. So hard to play defense. So that's why you need to have 3 levels of a defense. So get your guy, your pass rushers time to get through the holds. But if you got nobody in the middle of the field, Washington, I mean, time to eat. I don't know what to tell you. Like, they got a decent line, and then, like, you're going to throw in the fact that it's Tom. They're not about to let them boys come off the edge and put hands on him. All right, let's keep that about now. Like, there's only a couple quarterbacks in the league where you're allowed to come off the edge, do damage. Tom is not one of them. We've seen rules made. You are not allowed to come off and just haul off on time. You're not allowed. I've seen things Drew. Matter of fact, earlier this season, somebody on the team that I root for, it was a perfectly clean sack. Apparently, you are not allowed to hit Drew Brees very hard in the dome they play in. That is a foul. 42 seconds after he got sacked, foul. Flag thrown. The man got up, looked at the ref like,
Out the
you see
game.
me? I gotta fix my flak jacket. Ref was like flak. So that's gonna be fun next week because poor defenders, I wish you the best. You better not touch them dudes. The Cleveland and the Pittsburgh thing, that was funny to me because Pittsburgh began a whole lot of undeserving love all year. Like, what Big Ben did y'all watch this year? I'm confused. Like, let's be honest here. They've been bad all year. Nobody, you weren't allowed to say it out loud, but they just dance. That's what they do. They dance. Nothing else. They just dance. Right? That's what they've done all year. That's the only consistent thing they've done all year is TikTok. With the Ravens and the Titans, again, rooting for a team that has a quarterback where sometimes all you ask them to do is a job, and sometimes it's a little too much. Y'all might want to figure out what you're doing, Tennessee, paying that man that money when you know what I'm saying. There's 11 people in the field, 10 of them in the backfield on Derek, and you got 13 points. What you paying the man for? What you paying him for? It's 11 on 11. They got 10 people focused on one of your guys. What you paying your man for? With the Rams, again, I don't know to the rest of the world that doesn't watch NFC West on purpose. Did y'all really think Seattle's beating them? Their offense been like literally fill out a lottery ticket and maybe the play works. That's been Seattle's offense this year. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like matter of fact, before the show started, they fired the offensive coordinator tonight. So it's not me being petty. Pete Carroll thinks that too. Pete Carroll was like, look, I heard y'all would just let Russ cook. Like, it's cute throwing the ball. We going back to ground and pound. I guarantee you. Like 30 carries, 15 passes. We done with this. Y'all got me out here losing. I mean, and next week is going to be fun is the Rams and the Packers. They both got similar offenses. This year too. Like Michael Fleur came over from San Fran. He's also part of that, like the Shanahan group of friends that was in Washington, like McVay and all them, like that whole group of homies. So that's the Rams know that offense. It's going to be fun. They also got Jalen Ramsey. So, like, they're one of the rare teams in the league that could be like, Jalen Ramsey, Devontae Adams. Y'all figure it out. You guys have fun. Also, Aaron Donald. Have fun with that. So it'll be fun to see that because, like, then on the other side of the Rams, like, you don't have a quarterback. So it's hard to win in the league without a quarterback. So, again, can attest to that. It's kind of tough. Really, really, really tough. Can't run the ball forever.
Me too.
Sometimes you got to throw it. Yeah. Again, can attest to that firsthand. People just be open, ball just can't get there. I don't know what it is. And the Browns, I'm happy for y'all. It was amazing. History was made. Both y'all and the Bills advancing the playoffs in the same day, like ever. Like I think it was something like since the merger. Like they've never won a playoff game in the same day. So like that was huge. Congratulations to you both. Y'all over there with Kareem Hunt, y'all better tell your mans to settle on down, chill out with all this talking stuff. That's the Chiefs, that's not the Steelers. Fall back, win a game, lock in, and be quiet. The man that puts ketchup on steaks, he can't wait to play. Pat Mahomes sitting over there like, oh, where?
Put ketchup on everything.
Man, like, yeah, sometimes you just gotta, just settle on down, man. Like it's one win, move on to the next game. Focus on task at hand. Just keep a low profile. You got Tyreek and all them amped up now. You know, Honey Badger over there. Like I saw some reporter. We all know what Kareem Hunt got in trouble for. So like the Chiefs gave up on Kareem Hunt. If y'all don't sit down and be quiet, like stop it, man. Man out here beating women. Like stop. Ain't nobody give up on him. Hey, look what he did. To say that is just yeah. And then in the Old People Bowl, I just don't even care personally. I don't. It's irrelevant.
The old people.
That's geriatric bowl.
I'm definitely calling it that next week.
Like it happened during somebody was like on the History Channel, and then Tom posted that. I'm like, yeah, it's funny, but it's real. Like I'm over both of y'all. Go. I don't care who wins. I don't care who loses. You know what I'm saying? Eventually,
one of y'all retire.
See what it. Hopefully soon. Like literally, that's the sad part. You get to see like the past gets to see the future if one of them gets to the Super Bowl. Because one of them little kid quarterbacks is coming out the AFC.
Right.
You get to see stay in the pocket and go through my reads and deuces. Y'all playing man? I'm out. That's it. Josh Allen too. And I'll tell you what you said about Josh Allen. Like, credit to the Bills for just staying the course, and you picked your man, you believed in him, you invested in him, and sometimes Minnesota, sometimes dudes are like number one wide receivers, and you should cherish them. Congratulations on accidentally replacing him with Justin Jefferson. I hope he has a better things go better for him than they went for Stephon in Minnesota. Although there was a clip, I'll tell you, you already know what I'm talking about. Young boy looked like he's already over. Their signal caller, he understands what Stephon was going through already. It's his rookie year. That was a great clip. Hey man, throw the ball. You got telling you to throw the ball, man. Like, what you doing? Throw the ball. So that's already funny. Quick little DC United update. Recent transactions. They re-signed goalkeeper Chris Seitz. They acquired Los Angeles Football Club forward Adrian Perez after selecting him with the third overall pick in the second stage of the 2020 MLS re-entry draft. DC United have also acquired Columbus Crew SC goalkeeper John Kempen in exchange for their natural third-round pick, 58th overall in the 2021 MLS Super Draft. As far as the coaching update goes, man, long story short, it is still going on. You know, there's been a couple reports that's been close, but essentially no cigar. We will update you as we go forward. Saw Steve Birnbaum posted today, one of the DC United center backs. He had ankle surgery, so it went well. We'll see how he recovers. Paul Arriola was called up to the U.S. men's national team during the last week or so as well, to camp rather. But, that's what's going on there. We'll have more news as that picks up. We're getting close because, there's so many sports going on at the same time. And even with the pandemic, stuff's going to continue to start and stop and start and stop. But I got a couple questions for you both. For rapid fire, I'm gonna do my best. Octavia, you know where we started. So Ray, you get the answer first, and then Octavia, I'm gonna give her some time to answer.
Okay.
There's been more and more information coming out about the firing of one Doug Peterson of the Philadelphia Eagles, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles. Essentially, several reports have stated that he didn't have quite the full amount of control most head coaches were expected to have, specifically with personnel. It's one thing to have suggestions. Several reports have intimated that there were very strong suggestions, and conversations were from, we heard one conversation where, yeah, he's going to be here. Second conversation, we need a new coach. It's good. They're out here with the rest of these teams looking around. So I know for me personally, literally last week we were talking about Peters, or was it 2 weeks ago? So about Peterson, how the regular season ended and whatnot. And I know how I felt then. It's kind of changed how I looked at it, but I want to ask you guys, does the news has come out, has that changed what's transpiring with the Eagles? And how do you think it's going to affect the incoming coaching hire if the power dynamic remains the same or changes? Ray, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think that tidbit is damaging for their process because, especially in football, a coach does want to have strong influence over, who they bring in. And if that's how they operating over there, I don't know too many people that'll willingly dive head first into that situation. They're going to have to bank on somebody that just really just wants the opportunity. And from where I look at it, Doug's had a rough go at it since the Super Bowl, pretty much. But it hasn't all been, his fault. They've had years where they were ravaged by injury. And of course this year they didn't have a very good time at all. But what's done is done. If that was the situation, then I could see how that power struggle would lead to them making the decision they made. But yeah, man, that's a tough spot to be in, where you just gotta no one really wants to 100% play the hands they're dealt. They want to kind of have some influence over what cards they have. So yeah, if that was the case for him, I wouldn't be surprised if he's relieved to be out of there. That's got to be a stressful spot for him. Especially given everything else that's gone on. But yeah, man, given that new information, I don't think he's particularly upset, so to speak, to be rid of that. So yeah.
All right, Octavia, your team, your drama. Interested to hear what you got to say.
So I'm gonna say, like, I honestly didn't expect it, but like we talked about earlier, like I honestly don't care either way. I don't care if he stayed, and I didn't care if he left. It was gonna be hard to me just because of I don't know how much control he has over the locker room anymore. So that's why I didn't know if he'd be able to get it back or not. So that's why I was kind of on the fence about it, if he was there, if he would go. As far as what's been coming out, I honestly, I do believe it. I feel like it has something to do with him trying to take control. And I think that before this season, he did have control. I think that a lot of things that went down this season is kind of what made everybody step back and say, okay, like, what are we doing? Like, I'm pretty sure he was the go-to, or, he was all for the Carson Wentz signing and the big bonus and everything. And then out of nowhere, it was like a total regression of everything. So I just think that, the higher ups are trying to save face at this point of trying to take back control over everything. I'll be the first to tell you, there are many of Philadelphia Eagle fan pages that I'm a part of, and everybody is saying to fire Howie Roseman. So they all know that it has a lot to do with the higher up, and a lot of them would have preferred that instead of Doug. But we can't have everything we want, unfortunately. And these things do happen. I definitely think it does hamper the situation about trying to find a new coach. Because like I said, before this happened yesterday, I wasn't even thinking about a new coach. So now I'm sitting here like, okay, I got to start figuring out who, just me personally, what I think would be a good fit. Like, I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm looking at all the reports and who's possible. And like I talked to Wilson before we started, I was like, y'all can give us our defensive coordinator or what? Just go ahead and send them across the nation. Because to me,
hey, you guys said Jalen back.
Send who? No. You gotta
send Jalen back. You take
y'all can have Nate. Y'all can have Nate.
Yeah, hey, we're sending y'all an actual mind that understands defense. I want a quarterback.
Y'all can have Nate understand this when he gets up in reserve from the last game he played. Y'all can have him. But no, I mean, there's so many different options. There's so many things, and like you said, a coach of that caliber, is going to want to bring in who he wants to bring in, and he's going to want to have his own staff, especially if it's somebody that you're hiring. I mean, I can't even say especially, just like I feel like any coach, like you would think a new coach, this is their first time, they want to do it right for their first time as a head coach. They want to have who they want to have in there. So you don't want to have pressure from the higher ups saying like, no, we need to hire this more seasoned person over this person. And I just think that they lost a lack of trust in Doug, honestly. I just think it's a lot of different variables. I think they lost trust in him with how everything was going on. And I don't know if they really could trust his evaluation of this person. Yes, I love this picture. I don't know if they could trust his evaluation of trying to elevate this Taylor person to, offensive coordinator. And it's hard when, the people that your boss doesn't trust your judgment or your decision-making skills. So I think if that was the case, it was the right time for them to part ways. Doug, he brought us a championship, regardless of however it looked. It happened. We'll forever be thankful to him for that. But I honestly wouldn't mind us getting a younger, I'm not saying that Doug is old, but a younger coach. Like you see the McVays and the Shanahans and the Matt LaFleurs, and like you see these coaches coming up the rank, and you see how special these teams are coming to be. Like I want to get a younger coach to see and maybe change the culture, but we'll never know. It's way above my pay grade. I don't even get paid by the Eagles, so who knows?
Leave my man solid right where he's at. Just leave him where he at.
No, I mean,
if y'all y'all do go ahead and hire him, y'all would end up bringing either the run game coordinator or the pass game coordinator that's already on staff with him. The other LaFleur or Mike McDaniel would be the ones that I think it's Matt. Which LaFleur is it that's in Green Bay? Is it Mike or Matt? It's Matt.
It's Matt.
Mm-hmm. It's Matt. So Mike is still on staff. It would be either Mike LaFleur or Mike McDaniel. They're the passing game and run game coordinators. They would get an opportunity. I'm really assuming whichever one of them is leaving with Saleh, wherever he may go. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. At this point, like, I just want them to do something because this year was terrible and it was just so hard to be a fan. It was like, what are we doing?
Hey, Ray laughing and enjoying all this. I love y'all division. Y'all cool. Funny.
It's cool because I can't.
You got to enter the realm of I don't care, man.
Like we're at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the division. Like we're at the bottom of the NFL. Like even
it's not
like
that
it's
bad.
just bad. It is. It's pretty bad.
I got 2 quarterbacks. We got none. How is that the bottom?
You can have one.
Matter of fact, hold on. Matter of fact, I don't feel bad for either one of y'all. Both y'all got quarterbacks. No, both y'all teams got quarterbacks. How you treat them is none of my business. But both of y'all have them.
You got a quarterback?
Ain't got none. We don't.
You got a Garoppolo.
We got a head coach.
You're a model and a quarterback.
We got a head coach. I don't want that. I'm good. I don't want that at all. That's another story for another day.
2 for 1.
Oh, real quick before we move on, the asking price. We're seeing what's going on with Deshaun Watson. A lot of different reports. Seeing the Texans fumble something that's so simple, like something as simple as, hey, we're gonna let you be privy to the decision we make, and then not let you be privy to the decision you make. You didn't ask for it, but we're gonna let you know, and then ignore you. And then after we can interview none of the people that you would probably want, we're gonna try to go around like you would do a child to be like, oh well, look, we're interviewing people like you now. Come on, man. I'm interested to see how that plays out. But real quick, some of the reports, like the going rates for Deshaun Watson would be like 3 1s, a couple 2s, or 2 1s, 2 2s, and a quarterback. Too high of a price, yes or no? You guys just want to get your take on it. You start with your
That's a lot. That's a lot. Like,
and keep in mind, not for y'all respective teams because y'all got players.
No, not much because like the rumor at this point is that he wants to end up in Miami, and I mean, I think Stephen A. said when I was listening to the first take, it's just like it may have to do with like the higher ups. He has a black coach there. There's a black GM there. It's the only team in the NFL that has a black GM and a black coach. Maybe he feels like he'll be heard more or whatever, but that's a little steep for me because it's not like the Dolphins are far off like they were a season or 2 ago. It could kind of just kind of mess up the whole rhythm that they're having, the culture that they're building there. And it's like, do you really want to do it? But then at the same time, Deshaun Watson is a franchise player. Like he's going to be good no matter where he goes, as long as he has good people around him, as we can see. But I don't know. That's a lot to do. And then depending on if they got to take on his contract too, like, I mean, this kind of reminds me of like when Dame signed all that money in Portland, and then like everybody else in the starting 5 rolled out. Like this is what it's reminding me of again. It was like LaMarcus, I'm gone. West gone. Batum gone. Like everybody left after Dame got his, and it's like That's kind of where I see Deshaun at this point. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember. Did he sign the deal before or after they told him Hopkins was leaving? I can't remember, because I feel like he signed it after he knew.
He signed it like, so what it looks like even with the fumbling of Hopkins, like he was cool, right? I think like this literally comes down to the fact that like y'all told him he was going to be a part of the process, and then he reneged on it. Like it's literally, I feel like it's literally that simple. Like I'm sure he already knows y'all don't know what you're doing. But
that's what I mean.
Don't lie.
It's like you put yourself, you kind of put yourself back in a situation with a team like you already knew wasn't on the up and up. You know, they already, like, you could see them doing funny stuff. Like, who trades DeAndre Hopkins? Like, hello, like, what are you doing? So that would have been my first inclination. But but if you think that they're going to move into a better direction and everything like that, cool. But like you said, like bad teams continue to do bad things, and they've been doing some bad things for the last couple of years. So if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, sound like a duck to me. But you signed, you signed, and then I hate when this happens too. Like it happens all too often in NFL, NBA, everything. Like a player gets told one thing, and then the higher ups do something completely different. They'll tell you, "Oh yeah, you're not up for trades. Like we're not going to trade you. We're good." 2 days later, trade it. I'm like, I hate that. It's like, at least be completely honest with me. Like, if I'm asking you, like, is there a possibility that I could be traded? Say, there's a possibility. We don't want to, but there's a possibility. Like, be honest. So he has to figure that out. But to answer your question, that's a lot. So I don't know who would be willing to do that. I can't see it being Miami. It has to be somebody that like desperately needs a good quarterback. Like they have good pieces everywhere else, but they like desperately need a quarterback. And I can't see Miami doing. I just think he wants to go play in Miami to be on South Beach or something, but they close it.
I mean, the other tough part of the added caveat to all of this is that deal really kicking like for real, like the big money part of it next year is when that cap hit hits. This is the only time you can trade him. Like I think it's 15 for this upcoming season. After that, it comes to 41.
Oh, okay.
So like you can't. And then the other thing, he has leverage because he has a no trade clause. So you're asking why I signed that deal? He low-key has an NBA deal where it's kind of lot guaranteed. You're 25 and you got a no trade clause, which makes this also interesting because the asking price, you can't really go out of pocket asking crazy because someone who might give it to you, he could just be like, no, I don't want to go there. So it's interesting. Ray, your thoughts on it real quick?
Yeah, I think if that's the asking price, I think that's just them trying to, get back whatever for losing their cornerstone player. Do I think they're going to get that? I don't know, man. Like Octavia said, that's a whole lot. And then like you just brought up, if a team does agree to it, he can just say, yeah, no, that's not where I want to go. I don't think they're going to get that haul back in return for him. Not that he's a very valuable player, that's unquestioned. But yeah, I don't know what their angle is with with what they're demanding in return. I don't see too many teams in a position to do that. Yeah, man, I don't know. He kind of, this is a rare case of a player having the upper hand in the NFL, man. And I honestly love to see it. But yeah, he definitely doesn't want to be there anymore, based on how things have kind of spiraled downhill over the last few seasons. And like you said, Wilson, I think this last fiasco with this hire was the last straw for him. So I think they're going to end up giving him away for not what they want, and they're going to be tremendously worse off than they are right now, and they only have themselves to blame. So, play hardball, D. Watson, hold out if you got to. It's really not much they can do. So yeah, man, rumble, young man, rumble. Do your thing.
All they had to do was get him in.
The best part about and the craziest part, you got to remember, they don't have. They were 4-12 this year. They don't have their first round pick. Miami has it. They don't have a second round pick either.
Mm-hmm.
So the new GM, Nick Cesario, who's coming over from New
Who's
England.
the backup? Who's the backup?
We never see him. So this is an interesting situation. Interesting to see what happens. So I'm gonna sit back, like Octavia said. I'm mind my business. I got a short little wish list of quarterbacks that I would like for next year. 2 of them played last night. One of them sat out the year. No, my bad. One of them, AJ McCarron. Don't you disrespect my man Mac? Like, you know what? It's cool.
I had to see who it was.
Oh, that's who.
Check. Say back.
I thought you were calling my man. No, I thought you were calling my man Mac Jones, AJ McCarron. I was about to fight for my man Mac.
Oh no.
I was like, no, don't you put that
backup was, because he better get ready to play.
I was like, don't you put that evil on Matt.
Take your side.
He's not AJ McCarron. We want to thank y'all for tuning in. But again, as we leave, check out this clip from the standouts of St. James NIBC Invitational the first 2 days. So for Octavia, Raymond, we'll see you guys next week.
Guy that I mentioned yesterday, Vincent Uchukwueze. La Lumiere, 7 foot, 22, class of 2022. He scored 19 points on 6 of 10 shooting from the field, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 2 steals. He's just a beast inside, man. I don't know no other way to put it. He's refreshing to see that he affects both ends. He's not just a guy that just want to do it on offense, and he's not a raw guy that just do it on defense. He gives you both. His soft touch around the basket when he turns around on top of shoot, and range. I said yesterday he could shoot the 3. But today he got off to a slow start in the first half and picked it up in the second half. As you can see with the picture, he got mad, he got angry, and he's the difference in the game. In La Lumiere beating Bishop Walsh. I just think he has pro potential. I think he could be playing 82 games one day if he just keeps at it. You know what I mean? He's still a little bit raw, but his ball skills, like putting the ball on the floor, working a little bit more on his footwork, coming out to add to his jumper and everything else got with his length, athleticism, size, and his instincts, he could be a problem. Seriously. Moving on, his teammate, Chizon Farr, La Lumiere, guard, 6'6", from the class of 2022 as well. He had 12 points and 5 8 shooting, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. Solid all-around guard, man. You know what I'm saying? I know the horse is on him. The thing I love about it is his leadership. Yeah, when La Lumiere was, out to a slow start, he's one 17, keep your head in it. You know what I'm saying? Stay poised, keep at it, telling them different matchups during the game to attack, to try to get easy baskets, try to make easy plays, and it worked. They won the game. And then when he got his chance to go to work and do his, he was efficient with it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't force anything like he did yesterday. Today, he let the game come to him, man. He had a way more efficient game on both ends. And his team paid off for him, and they won, man. It was impressive to see his leadership, to be just a junior in high school, but everybody looked to him. So that jumped out at me. Moving on, Bryce McGowan, who had probably the best performance of the day. Legacy early guard, 6'6", class of 2021. He signed in Nebraska. He's actually the highest ranked player that Nebraska has signed. He had 38 points on 13 of 25 shooting from the field, 6 of 13 shooting from 3, and 6 of 9 shooting from the free throw line. 38 points on 13 of 25 shooting from the field, 6 of 13 shooting from 3, and 6 of 9 from the free throw line. So he could have had a 40 if he hit a couple more free throws on that bucket, and 7 rebounds. Super athletic wing, but shoot the hell out of the ball. He's efficient from all 3 levels, man. He's still on the thin side. When he has shots, it's going to get ugly, man. I don't know. He's just. I see why Nebraska's so excited, man. Because when he gets hot for 3, it's really no way you can stop him. Because he's so athletic in transition, slash into the basket. He draws so many defenders, but he can pass, and he has a great feel for the game. So it's basically pick your poison. Right now, you can bump him a little bit, but he's so athletic, he can kind of roll off that. So, I was impressed thoroughly, man. Yesterday, he was kind of, I I wouldn't say he's kind of rusty, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of things, but he obviously he only need that game to get in rhythm and to show that he's a special talent. I can't wait to see him at the college. I think he's gonna make a lot of noise. Next up is Nolan Hickman, out of Wasatch Academy, point guard, 6'2", class of 2021. He's going to Kentucky. He had 19 points, 6 rebounds, and he's just a very shifty, crafty young man. That's what makes him very hard to deal with. He doesn't have the most. He's not the most athletic guy, but he's skilled, he's smart, and he's tough, and he's shifty. You think you got him balled up defensively, and he hit you with a couple moves to create and hit his jumper, or to get loose off you and get to the basket. He's not your say typical Kentucky point guard that we come to like the John Walls and Darren Johnson. He get his old-fashioned way. He's kind of more so like a former Kentucky assistant like Rod Strickland. That's how he do his damage underneath the basket. So the only night he had 7 turnovers. Had he took care of the ball a little bit more, it might have been a different game. But all in all, man, he's been impressive overall this weekend. So Kentucky definitely got a good one coming. Next up is Cameron Carter out of Oak Hill, 6'2" guard, 2021. I heard he's the number 1 ranked player out of Louisiana. He had 22 points at 10 to 16 from the field, 2 from 3, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. I think the stat line pretty much sums up his game. He's an athletic, all-around guard. Super athletic. On one play, he went up to the square and blocked somebody's shot into the stands. He's shifting his own right too, but he's so quick and fast. You don't need a lot of shifting. He hits you with a couple moves, he by you. You know what I'm saying? He's most lethal in transition. He can literally score at will on a whole thing if you don't get back on him. I just love his tenacity, man. For a full game, especially high school level, you see him go up and down. He don't do that. You know what I'm saying? He's constantly attacking. And defensively, I love the fact that he loves his strap. He gets into guards. He don't shy away from the top guards. He get into them, and he try to make life miserable. Like I said, they're going against Wasatch Academy. Nolan Hickman on the other side. He got up at him after Hickman got going in the first half, slowed him down the second half. You know what I'm saying? And it worked out for okay. They blew him out pretty good. So. I know he has a few offers coming in, but I think he's great, man. He's a talent in his own. Last name you probably gonna hear me say throughout this entire run at this NIBC Invitational. Jalen Duran out of Mount Vernon, center 6 in 2022. He had 13 points and 5 of 7 shooting, 6 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 3 assists. But it was how he got those stat lines, especially a block. One block, I had to tweet out. He went above the vertical, went above the square, literally grabbed somebody, grabbed somebody's name. I forget his name. That's my fault. Grabbed the shot out there, and they went out, started running. The whole gym, it ain't many people in the gym. Ooh, to sum it up, if you seen Dwight Howard in high school, early in his career, he has that level of athleticism.